Yeah, man. But so you launched the app. How's that going?
Good. Yeah, we got our soft launch out there. It's out. We're just bringing in some more users, getting a little bit more experience, and creating our proof of concept so that we can go and do a larger public launch. So
So
there's
it's
a
not
lot.
open to the public right now.
It's open to the public, but from like you can go on the App Store right now, the Catalyst community, and download it. And it's just early access. People are coming in, but we're not really doing much to heavily market it. So it's still a pretty nominal size audience in there. So people that enter now, have good access of getting to be a part of the journey of it and be in proximity with the development team. And so, yeah, I definitely am excited to see that the process of getting an app out there is a lot more than anticipated. A lot more, you set a goal and it sounds fun, it sounds easy, and then you go through the journey of it and you learn there's a lot more. It gives you a lot more respect for the industry at large. So because my background is in real estate, and I'm always very interested in the education space and revolutionizing the way education is done. And as I was talking about what I wanted to do, started getting steered towards the tech route and like talking a lot of tech startups, and found myself waking up one day and starting the process of creating our own app. And it seemed pretty easy and started going down. And there's just a lot of things that are unexpected that you learn as you go. But I think that's the best way of doing it, is just dive into something you're excited about, and then as you go, roll the punches. And I'm having that strong understanding of where I want to go. The journey's all fun and games and worth it.
What was the hang up? Like, because I know you planned to launch like that the week after we had initially talked. And then like 2-3 months later is when it actually launched. I mean, like, what was the challenge?
Yeah, so there's Apple, and I've learned that there's, to get on the App Store, you got to be verified through Apple, and they're pretty selective, or they're good at making sure legitimate apps are getting through. And so we ran into some issues getting verified through Apple. There was just some things that we weren't taking into consideration that they got us rejected a few times. And so it's not just like you can call someone from Apple. It's it's a large company. There's tons of people submitting apps. So it's just a big waiting game. It's kind of like working with the government. It's like you don't really know who to talk to. You call,
Yeah.
You don't really know who you should talk to. And that was
Yeah.
kind of the process there. So a lot of like just, it was you want to work more and try to get it to the next stage, but there's only so much you can do, and then it's not in your control anymore, and it's a waiting game on some other third-party company that you don't have connections with. So that was a lot of the difficulties we were facing.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Okay. And have you guys been getting a lot of people joining?
Yeah, we got a small base in there now. It's interesting. We've definitely pivoted in the aspect of how we're going to be bringing in our audience. And so there's the two components of our product are mentors and mentees, if you will. And so what we want to be is the connection hub for those. And with that, we need to hack the supply in order to generate the demand. As in Airbnb and Uber, when they first started, they had to be able to hack the supply of houses or vehicles out there in order to then be able to generate the demand of people looking for those cars and houses. And so that's the same approach we're taking with what we're doing, is hacking the supply of mentors and coaches out in the world in order to then have a solid product to offer to the general public. And that was a lesson we learned as well. We thought, there was having two target markets, if you will. It was kind of like chasing the chicken or egg. And after seeking and getting a lot of advisors on the project, learning how to go about generating the demand for the mentors to come in now that's really where our focus is on, is doing that. And so we're working on different offers in order to create an irresistible offer for those mentorship at the moment right now.
So when you say like hacking, you mean like you're bringing more mentors onto you so that they're not as accessible to the general public? So that
hacking meaning there is a supply of mentors out in the world, and it's learning how to tap into that supply and hosting them on our platform. So what we're doing in the beginning process here is just creating an irresistible offer for these people to come in and provide free mentorship in our platform. And in return, what we're doing is giving them cut up clips for them to then go and post on their social media, like those more inspirational shorts, for them to help generate a larger demand for them on social presences. So that way we're getting the network effect of lifting up these mentors, them putting out their content, and that then generates demand inwards from the people who aspire and look up to those people.
And on that note, is that kind of what you sent me an invite for, and we've been talking about? It's every Tuesday, Thursday.
Yep. So yeah, those are some of the calls we're starting to do where people are coming on. It's just a free value outwards. And really what we're doing is looking to create a more open perspective towards getting coached and getting mentored. I think it's still something that it's on the beginning of a large upspurt. I really do see that being the future of education, is through intimate mentorship. And so
on any specific topic, like if you want to be an engineer, if you want to be buying real estate, whatever it is.
Yeah, I really do believe so. I believe there's going to be a lot more verification around that, and that's really what we're looking to help with, is being that broker in that space to help determine and weed out the real from the fakes. Because I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on mentorship and coaching, and I've gotten some really good people, like people who really are masters of the craft, and I've gotten some people who, went to a seminar and
just kind of regurgitating what they heard.
Yeah. So there's, the reals and there's the fakes, and that's in anything. And so that's really what we want to be able to provide people, is that safer buying environment where they're getting connected with the real people out there, the real deals.
That is interesting. And everything is becoming like rent based. I mean, Airbnb, Uber, you got Turo now renting out other people's vehicles. That's kind of where we're headed. That kind of that is, never really explained it to me that way. That's interesting.
Well, I look at college. I mean, this is just going with stats and numbers. Like the college degree is an asset. It's like buying a house or buying, a car or whatever. It's an asset, and the return on that investment has gone down drastically because it's basic economics of supply and demand. There used to be a much smaller supply of people with these assets, and so the demand for them were massive. Now everybody and their uncle has a degree, and the demand for them has drastically decreased. Now the demand is for experienced, hungry, driven individuals, right? And most people, like, that's what people are looking for. Like, and really what that is it's turning into more of a creator economy where it's independently based rather than larger corporation style. As the biggest companies in the world, Uber, Airbnb, Amazon, Turo, these companies, what they're doing is they're making it easier and easier for people to become intrapreneurs, basically. And what's another one? Lyft and what's Uber Eats? There's your brother. DoorDash. I think your brother does that, right?
Used to. I don't think he does anymore.
So all these companies, what they're doing that are really successful is they're creating very easy ways for people to become entrepreneurs, where they're their own boss, where they're working on their own schedule, their own time, their own ambition. And because of that, they're creating incredible opportunities for people to make money. And that's really where I see with mentorship and coaching is people who have had some sort of success, whether it be in real estate, whether it be in plumbing, whether it be in whatever, right? Some different area of expertise. They're creating a blueprint for these people so that they can become an entrepreneur in this industry that is studying underneath their mentor.
I agree with that, dude. Interesting. And I forget what I was going to ask, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally lost where I was going with that. No, so I know where I was. So YouTube, do you think that, because I totally see the value in intimate one-on-one mentorship.
Yeah, totally.
And, you know, I mean, I have mentors of my own, but at the same time, you can learn anything online.
No, this right here, this guy is one of my greatest mentors right here. This book, The One Thing, like this right here.
Love that book. Yeah, I got it.
It's a form of mentorship, right? I got Gary Vee here, right? This is where we met at VCon, right?
Yeah, man.
He's a mentor. Yep. I've never talked to Gary Vee, but he's a mentor of mine. I watch his shorts, I watch his reels, I watch his stuff. Like these are people that I look up to and they mentor me, right? It doesn't need to be a two-way conversation. I think that's the best form when you can find someone you can ask those questions to. But Tony Robbins, you know, I paid $100,000 and I've had a few conversations with him, but it's mostly just been one-way education from him. Mm-hmm. And it's just, for me, it's learning from people you want to be like. And that's the biggest challenge I see in the educational space today with school is you're learning from a lot of people who, technically, speaking for myself, I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to be working in a school, and we're learning from people we don't want to be like, at least for myself. I didn't want to be the people I was learning from. A lot of them honestly didn't really seem like they were very fulfilled or successful or living the quality of life that maybe they dreamed of as a kid. Well, why are we learning from these people? I want to learn from the people who love their life. I want to learn from the people who accomplish their dreams. I want to learn from the people who are doing what they set out to do. Because that's my definition of success through Earl Nightingale. Success is the worthy progression, the continual progression towards a worthy ideal. And I think so many teachers are stagnant. They're at a point where they've made it in a sense. And for me, I like to aspire to be like those who are continually progressing. We got a picture of Elon Musk here. He's a mentor of mine. I love that guy. Like he thinks so far outside of the box of what's possible for humanity. And that's someone I want to be like.
I agree. So yeah. Beautiful. And I know we do got 20 more minutes. I just kind of want to try to get a bunch of different conversations going. So yeah, I mean, sure, how do you feel? Because I personally feel that there is some sort of economic downturn or recession, whatever you want to call it. How do you feel that, or I mean, I guess, and this could be even just a personal question. How are you like recession proofing yourself, financially or even mentally? Like, are you preparing? Are you like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's kind of something I've been talking about recently on my channel. I just kind of want to get into that a little bit too.
100%, man. Yeah. Do I see it? Yes. Very apparently. One of the best people I've seen speak on this is Ray Dalio. There's a book, YouTube video, The Changing World Order. Very impressive. Have you seen that before?
Nope.
He talks about these different cycles that are just by facing the trends and looking backwards, predicting the future. And he's one of these, he's a multi-billionaire, very successful man, very credible man to be talking about this kind of stuff. Because
I know he's big on the economy. He's very, very, very good at articulating the economy, and he knows his stuff.
Brilliant man. And I had the pleasure of getting to watch him speak at one of these Tony Robbins events I went to. Awesome. And he was showing the different cycles. There's 10-year cycles, there's 100-year cycles, there's 1,000-year cycles in economics. And the 10-year cycle we saw was the dot-com boom. And we're kind of seeing that again with the crypto space, right? There was all these people threw a .com at the end of their business, and they were instantly successful, instantly famous. Boom. About 10 years later, NFTs come out, and anybody who has an NFT or a crypto project or a token, boom, instantly successful. And now you see all these 15-year-olds with Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and then the market turns, and now, okay, maybe this isn't as cool or as viable as it was to be appeared. And that was the 10-year cycle, right? About 100 years ago, there was the Great Depression. Well, we're kind of coming towards that end of that 100-year cycle where there's a shift in how jobs are going to be. There's going to be a major shift in the way that employment is done. But then there's the 1,000-year shifts of empires. And that's where he predicts that, and I'm not saying that I believe this is, I'm just speaking through Ray Dalio. He sees that China is on turn to be the leading world power. And so not only are we about to face a 10-year crash with the NFTs and the crypto space, we're going to see a 100-year turn with the employment and workforce. But he also predicts we're about to see a 1,000-year shift in the way empires or nations are in leading power in the world. And with that can lead to massive shifts in wealth from a standpoint that we don't really have textbooks on right now, as in depth as we do of like the Great Depression and stuff. So I think there's a lot that goes into that. I don't have all the answers on how I'm going to be recession proof from that macro scale. Now, I'm not saying I believe that's fully going to happen, but I do believe it's something. My own perspective is that governments and ways of governing people is going to change drastically in the near future. And Ray Dalio speaks of the black swan that nobody's seeing, that he doesn't see. And my prediction of what that could be is something in this decentralization, Web3 space of virtual governances. And so that's my own perspective. That's why I've been getting more immersed and broadening myself in that space. I still see it being a very viable technology, something that's going to be extraordinarily powerful. And how I'm preparing myself, I'm bringing in the right people, because if there's a shift to the magnitude that they're speaking of, it isn't out of the realm of possibility that the US dollar is worth something someday. As we saw back in the 1960s or 70s with the gold standard, there's 70s. There's no longer anything backing the money that we have, rather than a promise by our government. But this sounds crazy, but let's just take this into theory. If the government recalls its debts, well, now the US dollar is better used as firewood. And these are crazy concepts, crazy theories, but they're also not too far out of the range of possibilities. So I would say sitting on cash is not the best thing to do. So I would definitely be investing. But to me, as Warren Buffett says, the number one best investment that you can make is in yourself. And so that's where I've been throwing a lot of money into broadening my perspectives, understanding better things, paying for mentors, paying for coaches, paying for a team of advisors, and having people in my life that are there through thick and thin. So a lot of people would say, real estate, stocks, bonds, crypto, businesses, laundromats, whatever. Like, there's just millions of ways you can invest your money, do it all. But I think the number one thing that will never, that will not leave is yourself. Like, you're your only thing. If shit hits the fan and everything goes, you're stuck with yourself. So you better make sure you're stuck with someone you love and that you've invested in very well. So health,
you can rely on, man.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's my perspective. I'm also extraordinarily biased to the education space. I'm building an app for it. So depending upon who you ask is what they're going to tell you. But
It's all a great point though, man, because I personally, I've been investing quite a bit, weekly, and investing in myself has become something I've been this last year mainly, I've been really considerate of. And so since then, I have two mentors now. One's paid, one I'm still we're chatting and just trying to try to figure out the details. But it sounds like we're gonna do great things together, and he's just gonna show me what he's done. He's done great things, and I want to, like you said earlier, I want to be where he's been. I want to build what he's built.
exactly.
And so, yeah, I guess in the recession proofing myself standpoint, I've never thought of investing in myself, like in my own knowledge to recession proof myself. I've thought more in, things I can touch, like could be gold, could be silver, could be farm stock, paying a farmer to farm or take care of my animals for me that I have food, plants, whatever it may be. I've thought more so just intangibles, but not so much, mindsets. That's a interesting point.
Yeah. The number one most economically valuable thing, according to Tony Robbins, is the state you bring. So if there's two people and one is head down and grumpy and one's chest up and smiling, who do you want to work with? Right.
Right.
And so that's the biggest thing. Like, I think that if your life and your quality of life is determined by the number that you have in your bank account, and you wake up one day and you have $1 million, you wake up the next day and you got zero, and that fluctuates the way that you look at life, you're not going to be recession proof. If you have $0 in the bank and then the recession happens and you have $0 in the bank and that doesn't fluctuate, or even if you have $1 million, it goes down to zero, and that doesn't fluctuate the state that you bring, that's the person who's going to succeed in these times. It's because opportunities are always there. It's not what you have. It's not the resources you have. It's the resourcefulness you have. Tony stands in front of a room of many multimillionaires, many billionaires, and he asks a question. What's the one thing stopping you from getting your business to the level you want? And someone will say, oh, because this person's in office, or oh, because my team, or oh, because I don't have the resources, or oh, XYZ, 10 million things. Here's every single excuse. No, these are the most resource-rich people in the world in that room, billionaires. It's the resourcefulness you have. It's the ability to have a challenge and overcome it. That's what matters the most. And so that's where, to me, I'm not as well diversified as I should be. I'm very, very heavily in the education space right now, mastering myself, getting those people around me, creating that platform, creating that community. Because to me, that's the space that's going to matter the most, because people are always going to need to have the ability to learn and grow. I don't think that's something that's ever going to change. Ever. Parents will cut their arms and legs off to create a better future for their kids, right? And so that's a space that if it's life or death for their parents, they're going to make sure their kids are taken care of. They're getting the support they need, the education they need, in order that they can come and surpass and succeed in these rough times.
Yeah. I just got a notification for 10 minutes left on my stupid Zoom, but interesting, man. Interesting. I'm loving this. So on this Zoom thing, I kind of want to bring it back just to add some value to you and what you're doing. So on these Zooms, what's exactly, because I want my viewers to check all this out, and I'm actually personally, I'm going to be tapping more into the Facebook group community. I've been seeing posts, but being a little bit more interactive. And one of these Tuesdays or Thursdays, because like I said, I install internet, and my jobs are kind of up in the air. Sometimes I have a job at 2, sometimes I don't. So it's tentative as if I'll make it, but this Tuesday or Thursday, I definitely want to make it to one of these and just kind of see what it's all about. I mean, I'm always down to learn. You know what I mean? That's kind of why we're having this conversation too. So What would you say is this the first week of these, like, that's going to be these recurring meetings?
Yeah, we started last week. We're just going to keep bringing on more and more mentors. So like I said, I've got a lot of people in my sphere of influence that I really look up to. And with that, I'm creating ways to provide value to them so they provide value to this community for free. And so it's an irresistible offer all around. And I just want to make sure, like, to me, my heart goal, I mean, I'm a younger adult. I'm 21. For me, I was going to college, I was going to school, and it just was not what I needed. And I also saw it wasn't what a lot of people needed. And for me, I've been really slaving to create a solution. And to me, from what I've found from the mentors that have helped me to succeed through real estate and helped me to be financially well off, in order that I no longer had to have concern over money, I now want to get the best of the best mentors who I've met, become friends with, to come on and just provide some service to the audience. And so yeah, it's to me, it's a no-brainer of the value. And it's just the biggest thing right now is showing these people in their 20s the value of these calls and these conversations and being in proximity with those who are playing at another level. That is a learning curve we're going through right now of how do we show people this value.
And they're on a completely different frequency, man. You know, they don't focus on this stupid shit, religion. I mean, obviously, like, having a spiritual health is important, but like, just dividing you against another man just because he is one way and you're another, or politics, or all this stupid little shit that everybody bickers about, or Will Smith and, you know, that whatever the hell that was back whenever, I don't know, I think that was back in May. But you know, all this stupid little shit, that's what lower vibrational people focus on. You know what I mean? Things that don't matter, things that I guess give them purpose, makes them feel like they have a purpose.
Sure.
Maybe they're just led wrong. I totally feel that these people can definitely come back. It's just that it's kind of a loaded topic, but you know, the powers that be maybe don't want you to be, you know, working towards one goal in unison.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I definitely, I hear that. There's, you know, and I try to stay out of that stuff as much as possible.
Me too. But you can't be blind to it. You got to know what's going on.
100%,
you know?
100%. Yeah, no, to me, and that's exactly what we're doing here, is bringing people together. Like you're saying, like for me, there is one goal, there's one mission. Sure, we might all say it in different ways. But to me, you know, for the mission that I fight for is whatever is good, whatever is loving, whatever is truthful. That's what I want to fight for. And so, you know, people can say that a million different ways and there's just millions of different ways. But to me, that's truly at the core what people are after. I think to be loved and to experience that. And I think that there's many people who are deceived into different ways of discovering that for themselves. For me, getting started in my career, it was through money. I thought the more money that I'd earned, the more love I'd experience. And, you know, I had these different benchmarks. Once I make this much, I'll be happy. Once I make this much, I'll be happy. Once I make this much, I'll be happy. Crush that goal, then just felt crushed because it wasn't doing it. It wasn't what I was after. What I was after was this connection. This is what I thought. Once I have X, Y, and Z, then Simon's going to look up to me. Then Simon's going to love me. And that really wasn't my conscious awareness. It was more of my subconscious trying to fight through some programs that weren't serving me at the time. So that's really where I've been diving in deep, is to understand these things that I wasn't aware of. And that when you have that power and that awareness, that's when you can just far exceed the things you thought was possible.
Damn. That's huge, man. So as far as early access, like as far as early members, I should say, people that are kind of being active in your community, do they benefit? Of course they're going to benefit as far as knowledge goes, but I know in the past we talked about, like, NFTs and you implementing that into your thing, will they receive any sort of, I don't want to say monetary compensation, but just some sort of like, I was here first, I've been here since the beginning.
Yeah, no, the people who come in earlier will be in a lot more proximity to me, to my team, to the mentors. Where this is going to go is, obviously I'm biased to this, saying this, but it's going to be big. And those who are in the beginning, you honor them, you cherish them. Like my family, my friends, they were with me since I was born. They're going to reap the benefits when I reap the benefits, right? We all win. When there's a kill, we all eat. And so, that's how it was. Yourself and these people who come into this community, it's a community. And that's what I want to form. And yes, the people who are in the first 100, there's going to be benefits. The first 1,000, there's going to be benefits. The first 10,000, there's benefits. And that's kind of how I see that working. And so, yeah, first 100 people, you're gonna reap the benefits. And it's not just by being in the first 100, but it's also, being a part of the community. It's one thing to download the app. It's another thing to actually give. And that's what makes a community successful. Is it a community full of people looking to get, or a community of people looking to give? That's what we're looking to create, is a community of givers. If everybody's in there giving, that is a sustainable, ongoing, never ending, ever increasing quality of a community. And so that's what we're looking to form here.
Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. And Gary talks about it like when creating an audience, because that's essentially what you're creating is, an audience, a community. A lot of people think like when they're creating content, and I'm guilty of this in the past too, is just like you're thinking in terms of how can I create customers, not a community? What am I going to get out of this in the future? That is like kind of the mentality that I used to approach like content with. Like, what am I going to get out of this, when it's just like, no, it's just not what it's about. If you provide value, you're going to get value. It's as simple as that.
Exactly, man. You get what you give with interest. If you give the energy of I'm going to take, you're going to get that energy back, right?
Yeah.
If I give money, I'm going to get money with interest. If I give joy, I'm going to give joy with interest. Every morning, I like to send some texts out just with some love. I then get text back with love.
You do, man. That's huge.
And that's the thing. Whatever you give, you're going to get it back with interest. So you might as well give some good stuff out there.
Mm-hmm. I guess before we leave, do you want to just kind of send me, because I'm going to leave some links in the description just for someone to repeat. Is there like an open link where people can sign up for these Tuesday, Thursday meetings? Yeah,
the best way to find them is going to be to download the app. It's the Catalyst community. It's on the App Store and Android, Apple and Android. That's going to be the best place to get connected. You're going to be able to download our app, see what's in there, engage in the community, introduce yourself. I'll be the first people coming in. I'll be introducing myself too, probably set some calls up to do some smaller community conversations. So yeah, that's the best place to get engaged for now.
Okay, sweet. I will, yeah, well, sounds good. Everybody is aware of now. And
if you mention you came from this podcast, I'll make sure that I, do something special for them.
All right. Sounds good, my man. I'll leave kind of like an outro video to all.
If you guys enjoyed that video, that interview with John, great guy, as you can all see. But yeah, go ahead and download the Catalyst Community app. That is what it's called, the Catalyst Community. I just downloaded it, and I'll be joining. Hope to see some of you in there. Like he said in the end here, he'll do something special for you if you mention that you came from this video, from this YouTube channel. So make sure you do that, and I will see you in the next video. Any questions, comments, concerns, let us know.